Welcome to the SMB Community Podcast with hosts Amy Babinchek, James Kernan, and Carl Polachek. Produced by Kernan Consulting and for the international MSP community. We are dedicated to making every IT professional a successful IT professional. Hey everybody, welcome back to the SMB Community Podcast. This is James Kernan with Kernan Consulting, and I am here with marketing guru, Mr. Tim Fitzpatrick of Rialto Marketing. Hey Tim, welcome back.
James, thanks for having me again. I must have done something right the first time, so thank you.
Well, that $100 bill helps. So
yeah.
No, just kidding. Hey, I'm excited to have Tim back on the program because we've got an exciting topic to talk about today, and it's really about differentiation in a crowded market. Okay, how to make your business stand out. And since Tim's a digital marketing guru and his firm, Rialto Marketing, really specializes in building marketing engines, he's the guy to talk to. So here we go. So when you think about or you work with a client, you want to help them differentiate in a crowded market. What does that mean to you, Tim?
To me, it means being different, right? A lot of MSPs, other B2B companies, standing out from the competition is no easy feat.
Right.
And oftentimes what happens is we're blending in with the competition and we're unsure of what really sets us apart. And the truth with differentiation is it's not one single thing that's going to make you stand out. It is a well-crafted blend that's going to secure your place in the market. And so we need to focus on multiple things that lay that foundation for you to stand out. Because when we stand out, we become the only logical decision. When we don't, we look the same. And what happens when we look the same? Prospects have no choice but to default back to price. And we end up competing on price, which is a horrible place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, I want to highlight something Tim just said there because it's super important. A lot of the programs that I work with, revenue generating programs, number one, you need to have a marketing plan. Okay. That's part one to get everybody marketing, but effective marketing will make your business stand out. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How do you stand out in a crowded market? And you could sign up with some marketing program and be one of 1,000 MSPs sending out the same aspirin campaign letter to everybody else in your marketplace. You'll just get laughed at. Okay. But you need to stand out and differentiate yourself because the reality is people do business with people. And so we're going to dissect this a little bit about how to differentiate yourself. So let's kind of dig into that. I know you've got kind of 4 key parts of differentiation. Let's kind of dig into that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the 4 we're going to touch on today, there's many ways you can differentiate. These, I think, are the simplest and the easiest place to start to build that foundation. And the first one is your core message, right? Your core message it's that marketing message that you're going to use to clearly communicate the benefit of doing business with you. It's short, sweet, and to the point. It's not a paragraph. It is a 1-sentence statement.
Yeah, it's like your elevator pitch, right?
Yeah, it's even shorter than your elevator pitch. So If we think about it, like here's some of the brainstorming questions that I like to ask people to start to get those creative juices flowing, right? One is like, what makes you different from your competitors?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a promise that you can make that will solve your client's problems? Is there a core problem that you are solving for? Right, that you could talk about, or why should your clients choose you over anybody else?
Right.
So let me give an example. And I'm going to take an example outside of the MSP space because I think sometimes it's hard to think objectively about our own industries at times.
True.
But I worked with a residential siding and roofing contractor. Oh, this was a long time ago. This is probably 6-7 years ago. But that industry is not all that much different than the MSP space where, you go to 5 websites, they all say pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And So we wanted to make sure these guys stood out. And one of the things we did in that process is we started reading their reviews. They had a ton of online Google reviews. And one of the women in there said, gosh, the thing I loved about these guys was they treated my house like it was their own. When we buy from anybody, right, we expect high quality, right? We expect, good materials, right? That's table stakes. Like that, talking about that doesn't differentiate. Those are expectations that we already have as buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when you have a new roof? If any of you have put on a new roof anytime recently, stuff is all over the place. There are roofing nails all over the place. There are cut shingles all over the place. If they don't do a good job cleaning up, you'll find roofing nails in your yard for years.
Yeah.
So when they go to this client's site and now see we treat your house like it's our own, that's like a promise that they are making to that client. It immediately grabs their attention, right? Does it answer all of their questions? No, that's not the job of a core message. A core message is to grab their attention so that they want to get more information, right? Continue to scroll down the rest of your webpage, right? Or read the rest of your email or wherever you're using it. It's just to grab their attention and help differentiate. That's what your core message is for.
I like that. That's good. Okay, so that was the first one.
Yep. Next one is your proven process.
Okay.
So what is that proven process that you use to take clients from where they currently are to where they want to be, right? And get that consistent outcome each and every time. Most MSPs have a process they follow, right? They're not winging it, every time they onboard a client. But what most of them don't do is actually define that process and talk about that process in their marketing.
That's a great point. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So if we can look at what those high level steps, right? Because as an MSP, gosh, there's so many different steps in onboarding. There's so many different things that go into your tech stack that you're doing. But most of your clients don't care about all those steps, right? And if you talk about all those steps, it's going to confuse them. So think about those 5 to 7 steps that you take at a high level from beginning to end to get that result. You can, I've had clients, use acronyms to define their proven process. You don't have to do that, but you can name it.
Yep.
And then, each step is a single word. And then if you want to expand upon it and define more deeply what's going on in that step, then you can do that. But that is when you have defined your proven process, that is something you can use on the homepage of your website. You can use it in your sales slide decks, your sales presentations, and that helps differentiate. Because the other thing that does when you talk about it is it helps people feel safe.
Yeah, they know what to expect.
They know what to expect.
They know what's coming. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
So super, super important. So number 3 is your point of view.
Okay.
Right? Your point of view is a tool that makes your messaging magnetic, and it helps you stand out because you express your unique beliefs and stances. Okay. And so brainstorming questions here to think about are things like, what do you believe that, other MSPs don't?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or what common beliefs in the industry do you disagree with?
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe that protects your clients from harm?
Exactly.
Right? And so, for example, this could be, you want to make sure that the IT should be proactive rather than reactive, right? Or nobody should lose sleep over cyber threats. On the marketing side, some of the things that I talk about that I believe are there's no marketing easy button. or there's no one size fits all marketing plan, right? Those are things that I believe that I put out there, right? And your point of view statements are, typically you'll have somewhere between 3 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just simple statements that you can sprinkle throughout your messaging. You can use them in email messages that you're sending out. You can use them in social posts. You can use them in content, blog content that you're creating or podcast. Anywhere it's appropriate,
Mm-hmm.
you can pop in those point of view statements. And over time, people continue to see those things.
Yeah.
It helps differentiate you because you're standing out. You're saying something different from the rest of the people in the market.
Yeah. Let me compliment one thing you just said there, Tim, because it's so important. In our sales trainings, we talk about the same thing. It's your opinion, your view.
Yeah.
That's why they pay consultants. They want you to, prescribe what they need to do. They want your opinion. That's what they're paying for. If you don't give opinions and you don't give options when you're quoting solutions, it's a commodity.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a key differentiator, everybody. That's really important. Great point, Tim.
Yeah. The other thing too, I think that's important to think about, James, is when you put your point of view out,
Mm-hmm.
you naturally attract potential clients that believe those things, right? And so there's alignment there, and you're going to attract better prospects that are going to become better clients as well. So
Mm-hmm.
super, super important. And this is not, you don't need to do any in-depth work here to start to create point of view statements. I mean, these are just things that you naturally, they're already inside you. You just need to bring them to the surface and start talking about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what's the fourth one?
Fourth one is your competitive advantage.
Okay.
And when I talk about competitive advantage, there are a few things to keep in mind here. One, whatever you're talking about from a competitive advantage standpoint needs to be true. It needs to be relevant, and it needs to be provable, right? We don't want to say things that are true. We need to be able to prove it. And if it's not relevant to our audience, then they're not going to see it as a competitive advantage,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important. So few brainstorming things here to think about. The easiest question is, how can you help clients save or make money, save time, reduce risk, or eliminate hassles, right? So save or make money, save time, reduce risk, or eliminate hassles. These 4 elements come from a concept called the elements of value. There's a lot of elements of value, but these are 4 that come from the elements of value pyramid that are it's a very simple place to start.
Mm-hmm.
So ask yourself that question and start to think about, how are you doing that within your business? And some natural competitive advantage elements are going to start to come from that you can think about. Some other questions to ask, right? What differentiates your business in ways that truly matter to clients?
Yeah.
Again, truly matter, like, are they relevant, right? Do they care about those things? Are there things that you can say that are just going to absolutely blow them away, right? And you can think about this the reverse way too and say, are there things that I can say that my competition is absolutely terrified to say,
Right.
and will never say? If you can do that, that's going to help create a competitive advantage. Are there things that you can say about your expertise that others can't? These are all questions you can ask yourself to start thinking about competitive advantage elements. And you want to shoot for 3 to 5 competitive advantage elements. Some of your competition may have some similar competitive advantage elements, but the combination, nobody should have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to give another example outside of the MSP space because I was recently looking for a new mechanic, right? We can all relate to mechanics.
Oh, yeah.
My challenge with the new mechanic, again, table stakes, like I absolutely expect them to do great work. I expect them to be honest, right? Talking about that doesn't necessarily differentiate. But my challenge is I have one car. So when I drop off my car, I got to plan around that, right? I either need to, get a rental car or I need to get an Uber or a Lyft there and back. I went to this mechanic's website and they had a content block on their website, and there were 2 elements out of like 4 or 5 in this content block. One of them was free loaner cars, and the other one was that they would pay for your Uber or Lyft ride there and back. So they knew that a certain segment of their ideal clients have that problem, and they highlight it and talk about it right on the homepage of their website. That became a competitive advantage element for them. And that was something that attracted me to working with this specific mechanic. So your competitive advantage elements, you will talk about on your homepage. You will talk about them in your sales decks, your discovery calls, your sales presentations. They'll be everywhere, right? But the combination of those 3 to 5 elements nobody else shares, that helps differentiate you from the rest of the competition.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. And you guys, again, you hear me harping on you consistently about marketing. Marketing is the oxygen of your business. Leads normally just don't fall out of the sky. Many of you are lucky and you get referrals. Okay, that's great. But what else are you doing to market your business? So marketing needs to be consistent, number 1. Number 2, you need to differentiate yourself. You know, how are you different, unique, or better than the competition in your local geography? It's exactly what we're talking about here. Tim made some great points. And I love the questions too. They're very thought-provoking, to use in your content creation and also use in talking to your customers. You know, it's important to find out what's important to them.
Yeah. And with these tools, you now have a base to build from. And I think what you touched on with consistency is super important. When we put our message out to the market, it's not just one time. It's putting the same message out consistently over a long period of time where it starts to really resonate and sink in. And it's not just one thing that's going to make you stand out. It's that combination that will help you start to differentiate. This stuff is not, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? We need to do the work, but we also don't need to overcomplicate it. So I hope breaking some of these things down helps people and gives some steps that they can start taking to stand out. Because the opportunity, it's there. You just got to take the time to do it.
Exactly. Perfect. Awesome. Well, Tim, how can people get in touch with you? What's the easiest way to reach out and connect if they want more information on your company?
Yeah, best place, go to our website, rialtomarketing.com, which is RIALTO marketing.com. The other tool I'll make available to the audience is at revenueroadblockscorecard.com. When we help clients build engines, we remove 9 of the revenue roadblocks that exist with marketing. And if you want to know which of the 9 are slowing down your growth, you can do that over at revenueroadblockscorecard.com.
All right. Awesome. Tim, hey, thanks for being back on the program. Great to see you. Congrats on your success. And you heard it here on the SMB Community Podcast. Until next time, thanks, everybody.